Imagine picking up the phone and hearing the voice of the President of the United States telling you not to vote. Except it isn't him. It's a deepfake. And behind it all, a tiny startup founded by two friends from Poland. In 2022, the world was going crazy about ChatGPT. But at the very same moment, two young engineers, Mati Staniszewski from Palantir and Piotr Dobkowski from Google, quit their jobs. Their dream? Not to change politics, not to break the world, just to fix bad movie dubbing. In Poland, entire films were voiced by a single, monotone actor. Characters lost their emotions, stories lost their magic. So Mati and Piotr asked a simple question. What if a computer could speak like a real human? They started coding in their apartments. No Hollywood studio, no big funding. Just frustration and ambition. January 2023, they launched a beta, and overnight, the internet went insane. Voices so real they fooled families, friends, even journalists. It wasn't robotic text-to-speech. It was laughter, anger, sarcasm, real emotions in digital form. Investors smelled blood. Within months, ElevenLabs was worth hundreds of millions. By 2025, $3.3 billion. But while money poured in, so did trouble. The same tool that made audiobooks emotional also made scams terrifying. One of the most shocking moments, a robocall cloned President Joe Biden's voice, telling people not to vote. Overnight, ElevenLabs went from being a cool startup to being accused of shaking democracy itself. Could they stop their own monster? They rushed to add safeguards, watermarking, fake voice detectors, stricter policies. But the genie was already out of the bottle. And yet, Hollywood called, the Washington Post, The Atlantic, game studios, language apps, all started using ElevenLabs. They built a reader app that turned any text into audio in 32 languages. They powered video games and ads. Their tech became the gold standard of AI voice. But here's the twist. Unlike most unicorns, ElevenLabs was built with tiny micro-teams, squads of 5 to 10 people. No bloated bureaucracy. Every hire was interviewed personally by the founders. Their philosophy? Move fast, stay small, be the best. ElevenLabs didn't just give machines a voice, they gave AI a soul. But with every breakthrough comes a question. When the next voice calls you, will it be your mother or a machine? This is not just the story of ElevenLabs. This is the beginning of a future where truth itself has to fight to be heard. Next, what if AI could not only speak but also create movies from scratch? Meet the startup that quietly slipped into Hollywood and changed cinema forever. Runway. In 2022, an AI startup shocked the world. Their technology didn't just create Oscar-winning visuals. It also triggered lawsuits, copyright battles, and fears that AI could replace filmmakers themselves. This is the story of Runway, a company born from art school dreams that dared to challenge Hollywood and ended up in a global fight over the future of creativity. The story begins not in Silicon Valley, but in a classroom at New York University. Three friends, Cristobal Valenzuela from Chile, Alejandro Matamala, and Anastasis Hermanidis, weren't traditional tech founders. They were artists and designers. Cristobal, a painter-turned-coder, often said, "We wanted to give the same creative powers of big studios to anyone with a laptop." At the time, AI was locked in corporate labs, inaccessible to ordinary creators. Runway's mission was bold: AI for creatives. Not to replace artists, but to arm them with tools no one had ever dreamed of. At first, Runway was just a quirky platform with AI-powered editing tricks. But beneath the surface, the founders were quietly chasing a revolution. In 2022, their gamble paid off. Together with Herman researchers, Runway co-developed Stable Diffusion. For the first time, anyone could type "a dragon flying over New York City," and within seconds get a breathtaking image. No studios, no expensive software, just words and imagination. Unlike Google or OpenAI, Runway chose to make it open source. That decision changed everything. Millions of people around the world, from students to indie artists, suddenly had access to generative AI. It wasn't just technology, it was a cultural earthquake. But images were only the beginning. In early 2023, Runway unveiled Gen 1, a tool that could transform existing video into new styles. A skateboarder in New York could instantly look like a character in an anime, or a claymation figure straight out of a children's movie. Then came Gen 2. This was the real shockwave. For the first time, you could generate videos directly from text. Type, "A spaceship lands in a neon-lit Tokyo street," and Runway would make it real. This wasn't video editing anymore. This was cinema made from code. Skeptics laughed, until Hollywood came calling. The Oscar-winning movie Everything Everywhere All at Once used Runway's technology for its mind-bending, chaotic visual effects. A film that critics called the most creative movie of the decade had AI in its bloodstream. For the first time ever, an Academy Award winner credited an AI startup for shaping its artistic DNA. Runway wasn't just a tool. It had become part of cinema history. But with great power came a storm of resistance. Artists accused Stable Diffusion of stealing their work, training on copyrighted images without consent. Lawsuits piled up. Social media exploded with debates. Is AI a tool or a thief? And then came the biggest threat. In 2024, OpenAI unveiled Sora, a rival video generator. Tech journalists called it the Runway Killer. With billions in funding, OpenAI looked unstoppable. Could Runway, a small team of dreamers, survive? Instead of retreating, Runway doubled down. By 2024, they had raised over $140 million. Their platform served millions of creators, YouTubers, game designers, ad agencies, and filmmakers. Runway kept releasing powerful features: smarter background removal, infinite zoom, generative video editing. Their message was clear. We're not here to replace Hollywood. We're here to give Hollywood to everyone. In 2025, Runway revealed Gen 4, their boldest leap yet. For the first time, AI videos could keep characters, objects, and even worlds consistent across multiple scenes. Suddenly, entire short films could be generated with continuity, something no other AI could do. They also launched References, a feature letting creators upload images so characters and environments stayed the same across shots. No more glitchy faces, no more reinvented characters, just coherent storytelling. And then came the most ambitious move: game worlds. Runway announced a new platform to bring AI into gaming, letting anyone generate interactive 3D worlds by simply describing them in text. To fuel this vision, they secured a $308 million investment round, backed by NVIDIA. Runway wasn't just surviving, it was preparing to lead. Runway's story leaves us with 3 lessons. Democratization wins. By making AI open and accessible, they ignited a creative revolution. Creativity is the killer app. People don't just want AI to answer questions, they want it to imagine with them. Vision beats size. A small group of artists turned founders took on Hollywood and changed it forever. Runway proved that AI isn't only about efficiency, it's about imagination. From Stable Diffusion to Gen 2 and now Gen 4 with game worlds, they've given the world the tools to dream bigger than ever. But the question remains, will Runway lead the future of filmmaking, or will giants like OpenAI steal the spotlight? And finally, the most mysterious of them all, a tiny lab hidden inside a Discord server that created dreamlike images and ignited one of the biggest debates in art history. This is Midjourney. They didn't raise billions, they didn't hire hundreds, and yet they changed the art world forever. In early 2022, while OpenAI and Google were fighting for headlines, a small and secretive startup appeared in the shadows: Midjourney. No offices, no investors, just a Discord server and an idea. Its founder, David Holtz, wasn't a businessman. He was an artist engineer, once a co-founder of Leap Motion, who believed that imagination should belong to everyone, not just professionals with fancy tools. He and a handful of developers built a bot that could turn words into images. Within weeks, thousands joined the server. People didn't just use Midjourney, they lived in it. Discord became a digital atelier, buzzing 24/7 with prompts, experiments, and pure obsession. Imagine a cathedral in the clouds, a robot samurai with a human soul, an angel made of electricity. And out of those words came art. Breathtaking, impossible art. But success came with a price. As images flooded the internet, artists began to notice something disturbing. Their own styles, reborn by a machine. Midjourney had learned from millions of artworks scraped from the web without explicit permission. Suddenly, this quiet experiment became the center of a global debate. Is this creativity or theft? Lawsuits followed. Disney, Warner Brothers, thousands of independent artists, all asking the same question. Who owns the art? The creator or the code? Holtz stayed silent. No PR teams, no apologies. When asked about copyright, he said only one thing. We're trying to expand the imaginative powers of the human species. And somehow, it worked. While other startups burned investor money, Midjourney grew organically, funded only by its own community. Hundreds of thousands subscribed. Millions of images were born every day. No ads, no marketing, just word of mouth and word to image. Even their structure was radical. Tiny micro teams, each working independently, focused on vision, not bureaucracy. No venture capital meant no pressure to scale fast. They built slowly, beautifully, like artists, not tech bros. By 2023, Midjourney became more than a tool. It was a movement, a rebellion against traditional creation, and a reminder that art can come from anywhere, even from a line of code. They faced lawsuits, criticism, and ethical chaos, but they also inspired millions to create for the first time. Voices, movies, article. 3 revolutions, all born from almost nothing. But the real question is, which industry will AI transform next? Subscribe and we'll uncover it together.